This is the scene in Catching Fire where Katniss and Peeta watch Haymitch's game. They are on the train heading back to the capital for their games. Peeta and Katniss can't sleep, obviously, and so they're just hanging out. Peeta's like, I'm just watching videos. You pick whichever one we haven't watched yet. Katniss comes across the 50th Hunger Games, the Quarter Quell, and she says, we never watched this one. Peeta shakes his head. No, I knew Haymitch didn't want to, the same way we didn't want to relive our own games, and since we're all on the same team, I didn't think it mattered much. They're kind of just like, oh, it's the only Quarter Quell we have, so like, why don't we just watch it? Haymitch isn't here, he's not going to be in the games, let's just watch it for you and me. So they start watching it. The way that the tape is edited, it opens up with President Snow opening up the envelope and announcing the theme of the Quarter Quell. The edit then goes to the reapings, and when we get to District 12, the first person that is drawn is a person named Maisley Donner, and when the camera shows Maisley Donner, Katniss and Peeta realize that Maisley Donner is Madge Undersea's mom's twin sister. We don't know who the other two kids who were chosen because in this Quarter Quell it was double the tributes. So Maisley Donner is picked, and then Haymitch's name is picked last. Then we see the chariot parade. Katniss notes that Haymitch and all the other tributes are dressed in terrible coal miners' costumes, so the terrible outfits that she remembers that District 12 would always have. Caesar Flickerman is interviewing Haymitch, and he says, so Haymitch, what do you think of the games having 100% more competitors than usual? And Haymitch shrugs. He says, I don't see that it makes much difference. They'll still be 100% as stupid as usual. So I figured my odds will be roughly the same. The audience bursts out laughing at this, and Katniss notes, snarky, arrogant, indifferent. That must be the persona that he chose to go with. The games begin, all the children are put into the arena, and everybody is flabbergasted by how beautiful everything is. The beauty kind of disorients all of the players because when the gong sounds, most of them seem like they're trying to wake from a dream. Not Haymitch though, he's at the cornucopia. He's got his backpack, he's got his supplies, he heads right to the woods before most of the others have even stepped off of their plates. 18 tributes are killed in the bloodbath that first day. Others begin to die off, and it becomes clear that almost everything in this pretty place is poison. They note that there is a career pack of 10 tributes scouring the mountain area for victims. Haymitch has his own troubles over in the woods where the fluffy golden squirrels turn out to be carnivorous and attack in packs, and the butterfly stings bring agony, if not death. But he persists in moving forward, always keeping the distant mountain at his back. Maisley Donner turns out to be pretty resourceful herself. She leaves the cornucopia with only a small backpack. Inside she finds a bowl, some dried beef, and a blowgun with a dozen darts, and then she makes the poison darts to use to take people out. 4 days in, the mountain erupts in a volcano that wipes out another dozen players, including all but 5 of the career pack. With the mountain spewing liquid fire, the remaining 13 tributes, including Haymitch and Maisley, have no choice but to confine themselves to the woods. Haymitch seems bent on continuing in the same direction away from the now volcanic mountain, but a maze of tightly woven hedges forces him to circle back, where he encounters 3 of the careers and pulls his knife. They may be much bigger and stronger, but Haymitch has remarkable speed and kills 2 when the 3rd disarms him. That career is about to slit his throat when a dart drops him to the ground. So Maisley Donner saves him. Maisley Donner's like, let's team up, we'll live longer. Haymitch is like, I guess you just proved that. So they team up, they're working together. This whole time, Haymitch is just insisting that they keep going in a specific direction. And Maisley's like, why do you want us to keep going? And he says, because it has to end somewhere, right? Maisley Donner is like, what do you expect to find? And he says, I don't know, but maybe there's something we can use. They make it to the end, and it's just a cliff. And Maisley is all like, okay, we found the cliff. Let's go somewhere else now. Like, why would we stay here? Haymitch is like, no, I'm staying here. She says, all right, there's 5 of us left. Like, we're just gonna split up. They split up, and she immediately is attacked by a bunch of birds, and Haymitch holds her hand while she dies. Later that day, another tribute is killed in combat, and a third gets eaten by a pack of those fluffy squirrels, leaving Haymitch and a girl from District 1 to vie for the crown. She's bigger than he is, and she is just as fast. When the inevitable fight comes, it's bloody and awful. Both have received what could be fatal wounds when Haymitch is finally disarmed. He staggers through the beautiful woods holding his intestines in, while she stumbles after him, carrying the axe that could deliver his death blow. Haymitch makes a beeline for his cliff. Just as he reaches the edge, she throws her axe, he collapses to the ground, and it flies into the abyss. Now that she doesn't have a weapon, she's like, I'm just gonna wait him out because I think he's gonna die before me. She doesn't have an eye, he has like intestines hanging out, and just then the axe comes and flings back up and kills her. It hits her in the head, she dies. The cannon sound, Haymitch is claimed the victor. Katniss and Peeta point out that Haymitch used a weapon of the Capitol against another tribute, but also that's a weapon against the Capitol in the way that they view it. And they both are like, oh my gosh, that's almost as bad as us with our berries. And just then, Haymitch comes in and says, not quite. Then in Mockingjay, Haymitch tells Katniss about how Snow went through and took out his entire family about 2 weeks after he got home, and used him as an example to show up to like Finnick's and Joanna's. Then he mentions that because Snow did that, he lost all leverage that he had over Haymitch, so I'm assuming he's gonna learn from that. There is a lot more to this story, and we are going to find out about it. So I know it's going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. And we're all going to read it and cry together.